So you guys up for story time? Yeah? Alright, good, because it's a good one. Recently, we got new windows installed. And what should have been, maybe a 2-day process turned into this gargantuan, epic drama. So on this day, the guys were supposed to come and install the windows at approximately 8 in the morning. So we woke our butts up and we waited until 10, and they still hadn't arrived. So my mom called the company asking where the hell they were, and the receptionist was like, "Oh, I don't remember telling you that it was 8 o'clock in the morning. Let me call them." So they clearly forgot and hadn't woken up, because 5 minutes after my mom had hung up with this woman, they called and they were like, "Oh, we're coming! We're coming!" After the windows had been completely installed, there was supposed to be an inspection done a couple of weeks later. So the inspector calls and says that he has made an appointment for 3 o'clock, and that the person who did the windows, let's call him Le Idiot number 1, is supposed to show up at the same time so that they can do the inspection together. Le Idiot number 1 called and said that he couldn't make it until 4:30. So the inspection went on without him at 3 o'clock, where the inspector said that there were missing screws from the windows and that they had drilled the screws in way too far. So the inspector leaves, and 4 o'clock comes around, and Le Idiot number 1 calls asking how the inspection went, and I told him I didn't know, because I knew he was trying to get out of coming at all. So he said, "Oh, I'll be there at 5:30. 5 minutes later, the company calls my mom asking how we were satisfied with the whole process, to which my mom angrily said she wasn't satisfied at all. So Le Idiot number 1 didn't call and decided to just not show up. So the next day rolls around, and we started trying to call Le Idiot number 1 on his cell phone, but of course he's not answering. So eventually we called the other guy that Le Idiot number 1 had been working with on the windows, and he told us that Le Idiot number 1's car had broken down, and then proceeded to try to pin the issue on us. He was like, "Oh, could the screws have gone missing after we left?" What could we have possibly done to make drilled-in screws go missing? "Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm going to Hogwarts Online, and I accidentally used a vanishing charm on them. Whoops-a-daisy." Believe me, if I had that power, I'd be using Avada-Kedavra on their butts. Finally, we got a hold of Le Idiot number 1, and he told us at 8 o'clock at night that he was still at the mechanics, and that he would come the next day. So the next day, Le Idiot number 1 calls and says he'll be here by 5. Calls at 5:40, says that he's stuck in traffic in the Everglades, and then gets here at 7 and tries to pull a fast one on us. See, we didn't know it at the time, but he had brought another person with him, and we had no idea at all that he was here, but we had left the door open. So while we were following Le Idiot number 1 around the house to look at the windows, this guy just waltzed in and fixed all of the problems while we weren't looking, so that by the time Le Idiot number 1 was finished looking at the windows, he was like, "Yeah, let's call in the inspector so he can take a look, because I really don't understand what the problem is." So the next day, we woke up early because Le Idiot number 1 said he was going to call at 8 so that he could tell us when our inspection would be, and that it could be anywhere from 9 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I woke up at 7. I wasn't happy about it.
So, this is what 7 o'clock looks like. There's one bird awake, There's a distant hum of cars on the highway. Sun is just starting to come out. It looks like it promises to be a decent day. You know, mild cloud coverage, not too warm outside. Not too bad. So yeah, 7 o'clock. Pretty sure I've never hated something so much in my life.
Lady at number 1 called at 8:30 and told us that the inspection would be between 11 and 12 o'clock. So, we just assumed that we had time. This random guy just showed up at our door, didn't tell us who he was, and then demanded the permit for the windows. To which my mother said, no. So we made him wait outside in his car for an hour because the inspector didn't arrive until 11:30. Of course, lay idiot number 1 didn't show up, but that's beside the point because we finally passed inspection. So the inspector left, and this other random guy went to put in the plate covers on the windows and discovered something fun.
Yeah.
They didn't fit the windows, and there weren't enough. He was missing 2. Lay idiot number 1 hadn't provided us with enough of the plate covers, which means this still isn't over. So the moral of the story is it takes a hell of a lot more effort to avoid doing a job than it does to just do your freaking job. Yep. Also, this happened.